Welcome to another edition of All Octaves with me, Val Kleinhans, where we talk to musicians and the fans who love the music that they play. Today, a musician is with us. Molly Rennick is here, Living Dead Girl in the building. I am super stoked to have you because I love the aesthetic. She is just incredible. Molly, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm stoked. You blend a lot of genres into your music. Can you describe your sound for anybody that hasn't heard Living Dead Girl before?
So imagine if Avril Lavigne made heavy metal. That's pretty much Living Dead Girl.
Yeah.
I equally love pop punk music as much as I love heavy metal. I grew up listening to a very wide variety of things. I love early 2000s pop music. I love heavy metal. And I was like, I don't want to make one or the other. I want to make both. So we took elements from both. We took the fun, catchy, upbeat, the hooks, the radio friendliness of pop music, and then we took the screams, the low to down-tuned riffs, the double kick drums, and we just made it into one thing, and it's Living Dead Girl.
Yeah, no, best combo ever. And I got some clues as to being a fan of like early 2000s nostalgia as well. I'm 33, so I totally relate. Like when I was watching the Exorcism video, I was like, there's the Avril Lavigne poster in the bedroom. Okay, check. Then I see there's a cover of Christina Aguilera's Fighter on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, check. So all of that, it makes for an awesome blend. When did
Thank
you
you.
decide that you wanted to start a band and take it seriously?
I honestly can't remember a time in my life when this isn't what I wanted. Like, there was no moment of, okay, this is what I want to do. I can't remember one distinctive thing that made me fall in love with music and want to do this. It's just how I've always been. I've always been a performer. When I was younger, I loved acting as much as I love singing. Now I'm really just into singing. But I just wanted to be a performer. I loved being in front of people. I started child modeling when I was like 10 years old. I was just that kid that was always such a show off and in front of everybody and trying to make the adults laugh with all my funny little one liners. Like, I'm just a performer, period. I need to be in front of people, entertaining people in any aspect. So once I started like singing and started writing my own songs, I was like 15 years old. I formed a band with anyone in my hometown I could find. All these random adults in and out of my parents' basement coming to audition for my band. My parents were like, "What the hell are you doing?" But I was so career oriented with it from the start, though. Like, I was never doing it thinking this is just for fun. This is my hobby. I was like 15 years old going, we're going to go on tour. We're going to go play in front of people one day. And then it happened.
Manifesting from the very beginning. So home, I think, is Florida, right?
Currently, yes. Originally Canada, but now Florida.
Oh, okay. So the Canadian parents, are they supportive? Are they like, what is she doing? What's the vibe?
My mom actually comes on tour with us sometimes.
Oh, fun.
That's how supportive she is. I jokingly say, I say it with so much love, she is my Kris Jenner. I'm like, I'm Kim Kardashian, she's Kris Jenner.
You're doing amazing, sweetie. Got it. Okay.
Yes, that's my mom. Because I mean, I'm over 18 now. I don't need to be steered in the right direction. I'm an adult. I know what I'm doing now. So I've reached the point with my mom where we're just friends at this point. Like, she doesn't need, I mean, I still go to her for advice and stuff, obviously. But I mean, when you're a teenager or a child, you need a parental figure, obviously. But the second I was an adult and I had my shit sorted, my mom was like, all right, we can be best friends now. We can go get Botox together and go to concerts together and go out for drinks together now. So she comes on tour with me. She was just like selling our merch, and I would call her my assistant because anytime I need anything, I was like, go get this for me, go do that for me, zip up my corset, do this. And she loves coming with us because she loves traveling, she loves metal, she loves concerts. But she's been so incredibly supportive. Like, she's like, really knows, even my grandma said, she's like, you can't tell Molly anything. If she wants to do it, she's going to do it. Like, she's like, we've known this since you were a child. You said I'm going to be a metal singer. We all just went, okay, I bet you are. So my family knows that by now. If my head is set on something, you can't talk me out of it. So they might as well support it. My mom said that to people too. So many people have said, oh, your daughter lives such an unconventional life and you're so supportive of it. And she's like, well, she's doing it with or without me, so why would I not cheer her on?
Well, right, and she gets like a backstage pass to all of it, so to speak. She gets the bonus time with you, which mom doesn't want that, and she actually gets to be a part of what it is you're doing and to actually see what's going on. Though I get it. I totally relate. The first time I had a beer with my dad, I was like, yes, this is actually fun. Like we're just
Yeah, once you don't need them to hover over you and help you, it's like you're actually a cool person. I didn't realize that.
you right.
I'm
And
like, I never realized how cool my mom is. Like, you're actually really fun to hang out with.
yeah, and then you start to look at her closet and go, ooh, I get it. Like I get why. That was spooky for me when I realized that I got my mom's style as I got older. I was like, oh my God, I'm turning into her a little bit. But it's not the worst thing in the world. That's leopard print, that's black, that's neutrals. I'm like, okay, I'm
It's
into
the
that.
opposite for us. My mom's taking clothes out of my closet for concerts. Like, she'll be like, well, it's a metal concert. Like, you have all the spiked, studded, black rhinestones. She's like, I'm going to take from your closet.
I love it. Speaking of clothes, it is so refreshing to see a woman in metal embrace her femininity on stage and off. I love makeup and clothes too, so it's always fun to see anybody that uses those things and how they use it to put a vibe out there. Have you faced any pushback though from your peers for playing up the feminine side? Because sometimes metal can be full of gatekeepers.
I definitely have. And that's honestly what inspired me to get more feminine in the first place. When
Ah,
Living Dead Girl was first playing shows when I was 18 years old, I would go on stage in only leather, only black, no color, corsets, leather, kind of like more lingerie. Like I would go on stage when I was like 18 in like a leather lingerie bodysuit, like just ass cheeks right out. Whereas now I might wear that. We'll see. But I used to just wear like leather lingerie, spiked, studded, all black. And then the more that I've noticed, like the male metal gatekeepers who seem to be so bothered that a woman has the audacity to sing metal, the more I started really loving my femininity. I started wearing pink. I was like, I'm going to make this so cute and so girly and so friggin' adorable that when I scream, it'll shock you 10 times as much than if I was wearing black leather. Because if I'm wearing super gothic metal, black leather, platform boots, all that, you expect metal screams to come out. But if I'm wearing a cute little baby pink crop top and a little skirt and my little Converse, and then I start screaming, I get a lot more of the shock value because people are not expecting it. So many people too, when they've even met me in person, they're like, "You're so small and cute. How do you scream?" And I'm like, I'm a metal chick. Of course I can scream.
and what does that have to do with any of that? Firstly,
Exactly. Yeah, I had one comment in a live stream a few weeks ago. He was like, "How can you scream being a hot girl?" And I was like, "Well, contrary to popular belief, hot girls aren't useless. Some of us can have talent too. I was
hot
like, "We're
girls,
more than just eye candy."
right? Hot girls go on walks. Hot girls get shit done. Obviously,
Yeah, I was like, what I look like and what I am able to do not go hand in hand. But thank you for your comment because I loved answering it. But I just feel like the more pushback I've gotten, the more extreme I go. Like I never in a million years thought I'd be wearing baby pink on stage. And now we have a pink drum kit, pink guitars. There's pink guitars right behind me right now.
Yeah, I love them.
Like I play pink guitars in the music videos. I'm wearing all pink. I put pink streaks in my hair. And I just really, really play up the girliness and the cuteness because I know it pisses people off.
Well, and I'm sure some of that is authentic to who you are as a person as well. And you
Oh,
do.
absolutely.
I mean, Avril has somewhat of a similar style, and we all love that. And
Yeah.
for you to be a fan of her and to sort of, take that and put your own twist on it makes sense. I'm not shocked that that's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
more like I wasn't being myself when I was trying to be so metal, so goth.
Yeah.
Because I am to an extent, but I'm also a dorky cat lady who loves Disney. So for me to try to be so edgy all the time felt like an act.
I
I
know.
tried to be quiet and mysterious and kind of scare people a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not for me. I'm loud, I'm proud, I'm super girly, super feminine. I'm like, I can't do the like, like elusive, spooky goth girl. It's not for me. I can't.
No, we would rather have the Little Mermaid tattoo, bright, loud, and proud. Got it.
Exactly.
Got it. So speaking of Little Mermaid, so impressed with what's to come. I'm super stoked for it. I figured you'd probably enjoy this conversation. I was kind of surprised at like the backlash that Hallie got for playing the main character. I'm like, it's a fantasy story. We don't have to have Ariel look a certain way. I don't know. What were your thoughts on that?
I think she's one of the most incredible singers I've ever heard. Like when I heard her rendition of Part of Your World, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could sing like that. She's absolutely incredible. I'm generally just not a fan of Disney's live action movies, period. Like
Got it. Okay.
I've tried. The only one I really liked was Cinderella. I thought Beauty and the Beast was painfully boring. When I saw Aladdin in the theaters, I almost left. I can't. I tried so hard to like Disney's live actions, and I'm a cartoon fan, 100%.
Yeah.
So will I watch it? Absolutely. I love Little Mermaid. I think it's going to be good. But am I going to spend money to go see it in the theaters? Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm just such a cartoon vintage Disney person. Like I'll watch it and I'll enjoy it, but I'm probably not gonna, pay like $50 for a night at the movies for it.
That is how much it is anymore. It's ridiculous.
It is like I would rather spend that money on my van and then like stream it when it's on Disney Plus.
I know. Well, I saw the post about the van. What happened?
We knew it was going to happen eventually. It happens to every touring band. I feel like we just crossed it off our bingo sheet of being a touring band. Eventually, your van breaks down. You're putting so many miles on it going from show to show. It's going to break down eventually. And it is an older van as well. It's from 2007. So I'm not like shocked it happened, but the timing really sucked. Like I just paid the deposit on my friggin' wedding. And then like a week later, I go on tour, my van breaks. I'm like, I can't catch a break. I'm like, I'm already working so much. And it was just a huge stressful, annoying thing. And it resulted in canceling 3 shows, which is the part that pisses me off the most. We had to refund all of the VIPs. We disappointed people. And that makes me feel like crap. I'm like, I am so sorry. I promised I would be there and now I'm not there. Like, I feel terrible too. So I'm like, everyone who's sad and disappointed by it, I'm right there with you. Because I was like, I came here planning on playing these. But once the van broke down, we weren't even in a city. We were in a small town in Tennessee, like in a forest. And the van just shits itself on the highway and it's dead. Like it was slowing. It was getting really loud. We could hear the transmission slipping. And all of us just looked at each other. We were 15 minutes away from the hotel. We're like, can we make it to the hotel? And then like it just stopped on the highway. I'm like really bad that it didn't happen at the hotel because then it resulted in a $500 tow truck. Whereas if it happened at the hotel, I would not have had to tow it. So it was inconvenient and it sucked, but I mean, it happens to every band at some point. So I'm not saying like, oh, we're such victims. We're so special. Like it happens to every band, as inconvenient as it is. I was just pissed about the timing. I'm like, if it happened on the drive home after the shows, so we didn't have to cancel shows, that would have made me a lot happier. Yeah. But we are going back to those places though. So we'll make it up for everyone that missed out. Like the show that we canceled, Birmingham, Alabama, in particular, I knew that one had like a lot of tickets sold and a lot of people planning on coming. So, and like we had to refund so many meet and greets for that one. And so many people messaged us about it. But we are going back to Birmingham in August. So like I said, I promise I'll make it up to those people. It was just such a crappy feeling. Like I just felt defeated because then we had to rent a truck to get home in. And it's like, we're like, can we take this truck to the shows? But we had to pay per mile. So we're like, go straight back home because if we drove from Tennessee to Kentucky and then down to Alabama and then back to Florida, we're paying per the mile. And at that point, we'd already spent like $1,300 that day on all this stuff. So it was just so out of our control. There was nothing we could do, but at least we're all safe and we didn't die on the highway. That's all that really matters.
That's the most important thing. Everybody's okay. Everybody got back home safe. But that is frustrating. I mean, on top of all the expenses, up front that go into putting the tour together, period.
Exactly. Yeah, touring is so expensive. So many people are like, well, why would you go on tour if you can't afford to fix your van? And I'm like, buddy, I'm lucky if I can afford dinner that night. That's how tough touring is. Like some nights you're like, do I want a shower or do I want food? I can have one or the other. Like I don't just have $5,000 to spend on my van. I spent it on my van.
When it comes down to that choice, what is the choice you make? Shower or food usually?
I mean, what we started doing is we started finding really cheap hotels that have continental breakfast, and I'll just be sitting there putting bananas in my purse. I'm not going to lie.
There we go. No, that's what it's for.
If they have a bowl of fruit, I'm going to eat the entire thing. But we started doing that because we're like, then we can get a shower and food. But there's been nights on tour I'm like, I'm starving. I guess I'll just have a granola bar and go to bed.
Yeah. It's tough. Most of the fans, I think, don't see that side of it, or at least until I started talking to other touring musicians, I have no clue. We don't know. I mean,
I didn't even realize how bad it was until I did it. Like when people were saying, "Oh, you're gonna rough it out. You're gonna be exhausted and sweaty and tired, and like you're all gonna smell like feet, and you're gonna be in a van. You're gonna be full of in a van that's full of other guys' farts, and it's gonna suck." I was like, "Bring it on. Let's do this." And then I actually did it, and I was like, "I want to go home." Like it really is a struggle. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But I really think once you've done it, it builds so much character. Like I honestly feel like I've become a less high maintenance person and a much more easygoing, chill person because of my touring experience. Like I had so many lifelong friends who once I hung out with them after my first tour, they said to me, "You have matured." They're like, "You're officially an adult since that experience." I feel like it really is like character development. It's like I admittedly used to be such a diva, like such a diva. Hair extensions, nails done, manicure, pedicure, face full of fillers. I won't use the makeup if it's not designer brand. I won't wear that if it's not. And now I'm like, I'm lucky if I can eat breakfast. So like, I feel like it's really humbled me.
Yeah. Which isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean,
It's a good thing, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like now that I know what it's like to struggle a little bit, it's made me like less of a diva. And I needed that. But you know, I was a teenager living with my parents rent free. I was a waitress full time, so I always had tons of tips. I was making like thousands of dollars in tips a week. So I was like, I'm gonna go to concerts. I'm gonna go to Disney World. I'm gonna buy a Louis Vuitton purse. I'm gonna get $2,000 hair extensions. And then I moved out and started touring, and I was like, this really shaped me as an adult. I needed this experience.
Yeah, not the worst thing in the world. My favorite video of yours, not at all. My favorite music video of yours is definitely the one for Exorcism. I creeped YouTube, watched the behind the scenes of it, and I cackled at the moment. Someone behind the camera, I don't know who it is, but they say, "Just do sexy shit, Molly. Just do sexy shit." So it made me wonder, like, again, you're not afraid to embrace that side of yourself. What is sexy to you? How do you define sexy?
Sexy comes in so many different forms. I mean, like when I'm even performing, there are certain things people like that I didn't even realize people thought was hot. Like even just the fact that you're a girl singing metal is hot to most people. But I really do like to wear sexy outfits. Like, you know, I've got a little push-up bra, I've got my corset, like cinching my waist in. Like I really like to accentuate, you know, the feminine curves and everything. Like why would I wear like a potato bag on stage? Anytime someone's like said something like, "Oh, you're using your sexuality," I was like, "Of course I am. Like I'm 24, I'm in my prime, and I look good. Why would I wear a garbage bag on stage? If I came out in a turtleneck and khakis, you wouldn't even look at me." Whereas I got your attention, so it worked. But I think sexy is like just being so confident and so badass and just like unapologetically so. Like going on stage in skin tight leather clothes and not being shy or nervous or embarrassed and just doing it. The fact that you're doing it is hot. It doesn't even matter what you look like. It's like, it doesn't matter if my outfit's a little bit too small and I'm kind of oozing out the top of it a little bit. It doesn't matter that I've had nip slips on stage because I was too stupid to wear nipple tape. Like it doesn't matter all the crappy things that come with it. What matters is that you were confident enough to do it in the first place.
Period. So that's when you know that you're feeling your sexiest, when you feel like I can go out and do this and I'm not worried about anything else except having a good time.
Exactly. It's like, even if I'm like, this isn't the most flattering outfit, but I'm going to wear it anyways because whatever. It's like the fact that I'm owning it is what like radiates hot girl energy.
Yeah, obviously. So my other favorite moment from that behind the scenes clip was it's mentioned that you wore the contacts in the exorcism video that kind of blinded you while you had them in. And yes. I know you have seen your fair share of horror movies and exorcism movies. So were you expecting the shoot for the video to be as physically taxing as it was, like in that moment or while you're, you know, on the bed strapped? Because those scenes in movies look physically taxing and super intense.
Honestly, the contacts thing was so difficult. My eyes were stinging. Like we did take one break where I took them out and I put in eye drops and I just like chilled for a few minutes and then I put them back in. But the entire exorcism bedroom scene was filmed for like 8 or 9 hours. Wow. Which people don't realize that when you watch a 3-minute long video, you don't realize that we filmed 8 hours worth of content to narrow it down to that. So I was laying on that bed, hungry, tired. Like we filmed that day from like 10 in the morning until like 5 a.m. Straight in one day. And then I drove home for 3 hours And then my car broke down on the highway too. So it was an exhausting day. But honestly, not being able to see the whole time is what stressed me out so much. I was actually starting to panic a couple times because I was like, colored contacts freak me out a little bit. I'm like, I don't know what's in these. I don't know what chemicals. Like, I'm like, what if I do go blind from this? And then I get all anxious just overthinking everything. But like, it was actually freaky because at one point I fell asleep with my eyes open while we were filming because they were filming close-ups of Jordan dressed as a priest. So I wasn't even on camera. So while they were filming him like hit the wall or something, I was just laying on the bed with my eyes open, just looking up at the ceiling.
Just comfy.
And I actually I felt my head like start dipping down. And I was actually asleep with my eyes open for like 5 minutes before someone woke me up. Everyone was like, holy shit, Molly, what the hell? That was so scary. Don't do that. And I'm like, it's 3 a.m. I'm sorry. I'm exhausted.
I've been up for almost 24 hours. Leave me alone.
It was so difficult. And I got lip injections the morning of that shoot too. So when in all the singing scenes, I could barely even move my mouth. It was a very long, exhausting day. But yeah, all I could see with the contacts was pitch black. Like there were so many selfies that the casting crew took with me. I didn't see until afterwards because people would sit right beside me giving a thumbs up. And it just kind of became a joke in my band. I looked like a sex doll. Like Jordan, the bassist, like took so many selfies with me and he's like giving a thumbs up, smiling. And I'm just laying on the bed looking like a robot. And I was like, I look like one of those realistic sex robots. Like, I don't even look like a human.
Kind of a compliment if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a compliment, but it just looks so freaky because without the eyes and me just laying there, I'm like, I looked actually dead.
Well, tell me about the newest EP, Not That Innocent.
Not That Innocent. That idea was born when I was at my manager Jeremy's house and we were just like eating dinner one night. And I was like, I want to make a second album. Mind you, this was like 2 months after Exorcism came out. And he's like, don't make another album yet. Exorcism has a lot of life in it. A lot of people haven't even discovered it yet. You need to keep promoting it and get the word out there. And he's like, what about a couple covers? Because then you're still making content, you're still releasing content, but it's not taking away from Exorcism. Got it. And I was like, if I'm going to do covers, there needs to be like an aesthetic, a theme, a branding, because I'm obsessed with that stuff. I think it's very important. Right. I was like, I'm not just going to pick like 3 random songs and just put it out as an EP. I'm like, there needs to be a purpose behind it. And I was like, there also needs to be some kind of challenge because I feel like covering a song that's already metal, we're just playing a song that already exists. Whereas if you take something from a completely different genre, you literally have to rewrite it because these Britney Spears and Hilary Duff songs don't even have guitars in them, let alone an actual riff. So we had to take all of like the root notes and actually rearrange the song to make it work. We had to change the tuning. So it actually took a lot of creativity. You wouldn't think that covers would really take much creativity, but they do because you're rewriting the song essentially. So I wanted the challenge too of like taking something and making it our own that didn't already sound like Living Dead Girl. And also I wanted to do something that people didn't expect. I was like, no one expects Metal Skater Boy or Come Clean or Oops, I Did It Again. Like that's not predictable. And I love the shock value. I love not being predictable. Just like when I'm wearing baby pink and I'm screaming and people are like, whoa, I just live for the reaction out of people. So I thought Not That Innocent was just really cool idea. Like immediately when we started talking covers, I was like, how about pop songs? And we make the metal. And I was like, how about early 2000s pop songs? That's the first thing I ever sang along to and started wanting to perform was pop music.
Right.
So I was like, it's kind of like a throwback. It's kind of sentimental. I want to pick songs that I grew up listening to. So it just became kind of like this whole thing. I was like, this is literally me writing a love letter to my childhood. I'm like, thank you to all these amazing female pop singers for making these songs that made me pick up a toy microphone at age 5 years old and learn all of the lyrics and perform in my living room because that's the kind of stuff that made me start singing in the first place.
Yeah, I love it. And for somebody up and coming, it makes a lot of sense because it does show, again, a piece of who you are as people. And
exactly, yeah.
They get a little bit of an inside scoop on that. Is that maybe the secret to growing the fan base that you have, being that vulnerable with your fans and sharing those parts with them?
Absolutely. I have found that the more of a real human being you are, the more people can connect with you, they can relate to you, they can resonate with you. I find if I just post like modeling photos and travel photos on Instagram and just look like some fake influencer, I lose people's interest because it's like, yeah, who cares? There's a billion hot girls on Instagram. Why would I follow this one? But the second I'm like doing a live stream with no makeup on, like we did one on tour, we had no makeup on, we were walking around Target and we live streamed for 3 hours because we just wanted to pop on quickly. We had a day off. We were in the hotel. We were kind of bored. We're like, let's just go on live stream and just say hi to everybody and just be like, hey, we have a day off. What's up? Like, let's do a little Q&A. And then people were having so much fun and there was so much engagement. So many people were tuned in. I was like, well, we're going to go to Target now. So I was like, do you guys want to just come with us? And everyone was like, yeah, let's go to Target. So I brought my phone while I was live streaming. We got in the van. We drove down there to Target. We were walking around shopping, trying to find the cheapest microwave foods we could find for the tour. And everyone was just commenting, saying like, that's so cool. I felt like I got to know you. I felt like I was hanging out with you. I feel like being in my pajamas with no makeup on, walking around Target, proudly declaring, I can't afford that. That's $5. I'm not buying that. Just shows people it's like, look at, we're real humans and not like trying to fool everyone into thinking, oh, I'm so glamorous. My life is so perfect. Like I'm just some Instagram model, you know?
Yeah. And
people like late.
Right. Because in fairness, who doesn't love Target? I mean, come on.
It's awesome.
So what is next for you? What's next for Living Dead Girl? Anything you're looking forward to? I think there's a second leg of the tour coming later this year. That's true. Okay. So anything else?
We have a full tour that's not even announced yet because it's still in the booking stages, but we do have a big year of touring ahead of us. We're touring with Raven Black in August, and then we are also booking tour dates for October as well. So this year will be the most amount of touring we've ever done in 1 year, which is really exciting for us.
Yeah.
We are working on new music. We do have a new single coming out this summer along with another music video. We just filmed that in February, so we kind of have to sit on it for a minute, but I've watched it a billion times and I'm obsessed. So I'm really excited for everyone else to get to see it. And I'm really excited about this new single, honestly, because I think it's our best single to date. I could be biased though. I really love Exorcism, so it's hard for me to say I love another song. But I'm really excited about this new single we are releasing. And then for next year, the goal is to just tour as much as possible.
Yeah. Get out there, you show your face, say hi, meet some new people. That's probably, I mean, if I were a musician, I would think that that's the best part of it, is the place and the people that you get to meet.
I love the interaction with people, like the engagement. Like when I'm playing a show, I'm looking at the audience, seeing what people react to different parts. I know by now, every time I do the bridge of Poltergeist, like the breakdown screaming part, people cheer after that breakdown every time because it's such a slow song and then it builds and it's heavy. I do theatrical stuff. Doesn't matter what city, doesn't matter what venue, people react there every time. I know during Worship Me, there's going to be a mosh pit and people are going to kneel during the last chorus. I know during Escape, people like mosh. Like I like seeing what parts stick out to other people. And I love when I get to chat with people after a show and they'll tell me like, oh, I drove 7 hours for the show. I booked off work. My friend and I took a hotel. I first heard you when I heard this song on the radio, or my friend introduced me to you. Like getting to actually see the people that are supporting you and meet them and hear their stories and introduce yourself and just like get to know them too. It makes it just feel so much like more, I don't know, like rewarding to see it physically. Like Facebook numbers, Instagram numbers, Spotify numbers, like sure, they're important. I want to see the likes and the followers and the comments and see that people are reciprocating what we're putting out there, but nothing beats the real in real life interaction of seeing how people, their eyes light up because you played their favorite song and then you see them singing the lyrics.
Yeah.
No feeling tops that as a musician.
I love it. And I can't wait to see what's coming later. And I know it's only up from here. Molly, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you. I had fun.